Hi there. I'm Nico Dahan, and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a balanced and natural wild world.
To recover our natural health, regain our rights and freedoms. And I'm Ellen Dahan.
It's a beautiful day in Durango. It's 54 degrees and about low of 25 tonight.
Ooh.
So it's really nice
Keep
here.
the fireplace on.
That's right. We'd like to let you know that please order our Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It's just $89 a month to subscribe to a healthy way to start your day. You can go to the tfnn.com website and subscribe to your Primal Edge. So we're going to do a little commercial here for the Primal Edge. So today it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your diet. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors were able to find all of their natural nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food doesn't have the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need the Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of iconic soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
It would be ionic soil-based.
Ionic, yes, that's right.
It's iconic too, but
yeah. Exactly.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, which have been called nature's miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without those particular acids, life can't exist.
Oh, that's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. And we take it every morning. That's right. So Primal Edge is recommended and approved by us of Living a Primal Lifestyle. You can buy it today on TFNN. It's just $89 a month. And you can click on the Primal Edge banner on tfnn.com. I think they're going to probably cancel their subscription by the end of the year. Mm-hmm. They're going to use up what they have, send it out, and then we're going to find a new resource distributor to do it for us.
Okay.
So today we're going to be talking about the ways of naturally and effective ways to help us with this COVID-19 epidemic that we're having.
And increase natural immunity and generally deal with from a more natural perspective.
Yeah, I think so. There's an article here, and this article is by National Geographic, and it's entitled Why Older Vaccinated People Face Higher Risk for Severe COVID-19. And we'll put these things all in the show notes, but to give you a little preview of what it looks like here. I think I've got this down where I can switch it over.
Click on the button.
Apparently I can't. I don't know how. Why not?
Okay. All right. Well, let's keep going then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had it working.
Yeah.
So anyway, one of the things is the mounting evidence shows that older people are at higher risk of disease from a breakthrough of the infection. And scientists say that should come as no surprise. After all, older age brackets have been proportionately at risk throughout the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things it says here, data from Seattle, Washington, and the United Kingdom show that older vaccinated people face similar and in some cases greater risks of severe disease than unvaccinated children even.
Yeah, the issue has to do with your aging immune system.
Yeah.
And that as we get older, our abilities to deal with disease, injury, stress, recovery, it diminishes somewhat if left to its own devices. And that's what happens is that the process of eliminating the cells that are damaged and replacing them with fresh cells becomes diminished. And the cells are called senescent cells, and they begin to accumulate instead of being eliminated from the body.
Yes, scientists who study aging say it likely has to do with some of the hallmarks of getting older. For example, the human body normally clears away cells that have been damaged due to disease, injury, or stress. But as the body ages, this process becomes less efficient, and it starts to accumulate the so-called senescent cells, which are damaged, but they won't die, and they secrete these chemicals that damage neighboring healthy cells.
And they trigger inflammation. And that's a big
So
problem.
our show really today is about how to have that not happen as we get older.
Right. Exactly. There are ways of dealing with that and boosting and supporting your system so that regardless of getting older, our aim is to make age a number rather than a condition.
Yeah, and of course, how you feel and how you tell yourself
Exactly.
you feel makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
It says breakthrough infections here. Annual flu shots have shown that age can dampen the effectiveness of these vaccines.
A third of the people over the age of 70 don't respond at all to the flu vaccine. And that's one of the reasons it's a contributing factor to why a disproportionate number of older people die from the flu.
Yeah, it says here, however, in September, the CDC reported that the vaccines, and we're talking about the COVID vaccines, are only about 78% effective in preventing infection among people of all ages after 6 months.
In other words, after a period of 6 months from the time you got the vaccine.
And this is why the boosters are necessary.
Right. So, it's basically aging is a contributing factor in some cases.
Well, it's pretty much been shown that, and I think we feel that we can overcome some of these things with a natural way. So what we really want to discuss is natural strategies for protection against these things, not only coronaviruses, but the flu, and every condition is like cancer and everything.
Right, right. And this was brought to our attention recently. Just the other day, we got word Colin Powell died.
Yes.
And the headline said...
The headline said that he died from COVID-19. Then if you dig a little bit deeper, it shows that, of course, he had multiple myeloma.
Myeloma, which is a blood cancer.
And that's what my sister had.
And he had Parkinson's disease.
Exactly. So these are contributing factors for sure. And he probably died through the complications of the added burden.
It didn't help.
It didn't help,
Right.
for sure. And I think we discussed this earlier too, that attitude has such a big part of this. It's not just, finding natural remedies and the way to detox. This plays a big part. But we had a friend that was diagnosed with cancer in the blood. It was in some of his, it was attacking some of his shoulder, some of his hip, some of his back. And it was definitely in his blood and white blood cells. And his attitude was just so much different than my sister's, because my sister's concerned.
She had the multiple myeloma.
Yes, and she also felt this was a real burden on her. She said, "This is my condition that I have to deal with. This is what, it's a burden on me." Whereas our other friend said, "I'm beating this." He says, "I'm doing everything I can to beat this. I'm going to take the treatments that they recommend. I'm going to take vitamins. I'm going to eat really good. And I'm going to exercise."
Diet, and did as much as he could to support himself and beating it. And he did.
I have felt throughout my life, eating protein and probiotic and thinking something my father always had to say, always had to say, always look at the bright side. Something he gave down and that's the land that's almost passing to my children, all people that know. And it's so important to do it the right way.
And it's such a simple thing. When somebody says to you, "How are you? If you say, we say, we're great, we're excellent, or doing very well, thank you. If you say, I'm okay, your brain says, not quite well, I'm just okay.
Yeah, and it's even deeper than that, because if you look in the mirror, oh man, I look terrible today.
Right. Oh, that's it for the next.
Yeah, exactly. So you're setting yourself up. So this next article comes to us from EliteFamilyCharleston.com, and this is a DC.
CDC website.
Yeah. 7 natural strategies to protect against the coronavirus and flu. I'm Dr. Brad Korsky.
Yeah, actually, I'm sorry. It's not a CDC website. They do refer you to CDC but this is this article is focusing on natural strategies to improve your immune system, lifestyle, and nutritional.
One of the reasons we wanted to bring this up is because on the news, they only talk about the vaccines. It's
all the ads are about the vaccine.
And all the ads are about the vaccines, and all the recommendations are only about vaccines. And so the question always comes, why not?
Well, I think what occurred to us was, is there a more natural way, or are there other options for helping?
Right, and not being discussed on mainstream. But if you go to YouTube and look at other articles, you'll find the recommendations there. So why not in the news? Why not recommend these things? Because we know part of our population is not going to go for the vaccines. I mean, it's pretty well known that a third of the people are not going to do it. So if we want to protect those third of the people, why wouldn't we give some natural news?
Well, it's an interesting dilemma, because we've got the FDA, which is approving drugs.
Right.
Okay. So, and I remember in the late 60s and early 70s, when there was so much emphasis on taking good vitamins and supplements and so on, that the FDA had gone on a campaign to try and make all of those vitamins into drugs that would be regulated.
Right.
That was defeated.
But it's slowly coming about again.
But there are picking and choosing.
Yes, it's there. And we're going to discuss that at the end, too.
Yeah.
So the first thing is boosting vitamin C levels. Now, this is a natural thing that we've heard over the last 50 years. If you've got a cold or if you've got the flu, boost your C.
Right. Take vitamin C.
Yeah, for decades.
And it says it's been utilized for preventative and healing properties, particularly in relation to viral illnesses.
Daily consumption of the vitamin, whether through supplementation of the diet or your diet, can ward off viruses and reduce the duration of the illnesses.
Yeah, and it says vitamin C deficiencies can result in impaired immunity and a higher incidence of infections.
Yeah. Next one is supplement with vitamin D3. Now, some of this is being heard by other doctors. Another exceptional vitamin for boosting the immune system is vitamin D3. Of course, we can naturally get this from the sun. In the winter, of course, the sun is not as bright, and especially in northern latitudes. So, you need to supplement. And why not? It's not expensive.
And between C and D3, you really have some extreme help for your system.
At a very low cost.
Right.
Exactly. Another one here that I hadn't heard of. I've heard of it, elderberry, but I've never used elderberry except in the Primal Edge.
Yeah, there is some elderberry in the Primal Edge. But it's interesting because our oldest granddaughter actually has a little business going where she's selling, she makes elderberry syrup every year. And she's got a lot of families that depend on her to do that, and their children take it to help them with the winter colds and spreading things through the classrooms and so on. And so she's been doing that for a few years.
Yeah, elderberry has shown significant improvement in their array of conditions such as influenza, respiratory tract infections,
sinusitis.
I guess I didn't shut that off.
Didn't shut your phone off. Cancer prevention, viral hepatitis, and various bacterial infections.
It's been found safer than the use of over-the-counter drugs for cold and flu, while being more effective.
So don't rely on Theraflu. Is that the idea?
Well, Theraflu, I think, is probably one of the best over-the-counter drugs that you can get, but again, not advertised. Utilize essential oils.
Yeah, essential oils. A lot of people think that just belongs in some kind of, astrology and crystals and essential oils.
Yeah, and they have been long utilized for their strong antiviral properties.
So, and it particularly mentions cinnamon bark, clove, eucalyptus, lemon balm, rosemary, bergamot, tea tree. And those are things that you can find in tea tree oils or in lotions of various kinds.
And there's many, many more.
Oh, yeah. And it says to harness the maximum antiviral and immunity boosting properties of the oils, you can diffuse them throughout your home or your office, and you can create a blend for topical application.
And you can use them in things like humidifiers.
Yeah.
Here in the dry climate, we have the humidifiers going. Increase the garlic intake. Well, one recent study found that garlic is so effective that it can prevent the onset of viral illnesses. If a person was already sick, it can reduce the length of time an individual experiences symptoms.
And on top of the antiviral capabilities, garlic is effectively used in regulating blood pressure, assisting in high cholesterol, and addressing bacterial, viral, and parasitic infections. And that's an amazing panoply of possibilities from one little.
It also is good against vampires.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And you won't have any vampires.
That's
either,
right. Or elephants. Because
okay.
Right. Particle silver.
Yeah.
Silver has been used throughout histories for ability to disinfect and assist with pathogens.
Medical uses include wound dressing, antibiotic coatings, medical devices, and topical use on external infections.
Yeah, there's an interesting at Brigham Young University report found nanoparticle silver to be infected at killing every pathogen bacteria it was testing against in less than 10 parts per million.
And that included salmonella and E. coli and Klebsiella pneumonia and Oxtoca.
Which is also a pneumonia, ear infections and meningitis also.
Oh my goodness, and streptococcus.
Some of the other things they talk about in this article is get over 8 hours of sleep. I think that's important, especially children. They probably need more, maybe 9 hours.
Yeah.
And as we get older, we probably need a little bit less, they say.
And each person is a little different.
Sure.
The optimal number of hours of sleep will vary from person to person. Saying 8 hours, I find I function really best when it's between 7 and 8 hours of sleep, but I can certainly function quite well on 6 hours of sleep if that happens.
I like 7 about for me.
Yeah, 7 is about.
So hydrate with bone broth. It has been estimated that as many as 75% of American adults experience chronic dehydration. So this is one of the ways, and I always, if I feel a little off, I like to have my bone broth or my miso soup, that type of thing.
And bone broth is readily available these days. Sure. Yes, you can put the chicken in the crock pot and make your own bone broth, and that's wonderful. Or make your own soup, and that's your bone broth, as long as the bones from whatever meat you're using are in the soup.
And every health food store carries it, and even probably through large chains you can find it. Make sure it's natural. Make sure it doesn't have preservatives in it. Excuse me. Other thing they mentioned is clean your air environment. Probably important because some of the things I think that diminishes our immune system is the industrial waste that we have in the air, in the soil, growing, with our food. When we were going on vacation to Florida and driving, we passed that area in the middle of the country where they had these cows.
Stockyards.
Big stockyards. And there was no grass growing in those areas. They were just walking in their own excrements. And that can't be good for you. I mean, if you did that yourself, you would feel not well. Exactly.
Yeah, we did actually put an air purifier into the house, a little machine that removes certain particulates.
Well, especially when we had those wildfires and we had smoke in the area. So we closed the doors and used those, and it seemed to help quite a bit.
Yeah.
There are some warnings in this article about precautions with hand sanitizers.
Right. It's washing your hands is really the best thing you can do. And apparently, from what I had read, if you use the hand sanitizers to excess, you do yourself damage. You actually goes the opposite way.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So next article.
Let's see what else we got here.
Okay, tips for treating COVID-19 at home. I kind of like this article because we all have a home.
Yeah.
And, home treatments, when you've got a low-grade fever or you're a pretty healthy person and you've got COVID-19, you're going to not go to the hospital. You're going to be at home. So you've got to self-medicate.
Your symptoms will be less, and it'll be kind of your ordinary flu, not so impactful. But it does say, the interesting part for this article that I found was they put some very practical tips for, number one, if you are feeling ill or having symptoms, how you can protect other people, and also protecting yourself while you're caring for someone who has COVID-19. So protecting others if you're ill. Did you
Right.
get to that part?
What I got here is first some of the warning signs, which
Okay.
of course is trouble breathing, persistent chest pain or pressure, new confusion,
New confusion.
as opposed to the old confusion.
Well, some days you just feel like you're not thinking as clearly as normal, but confusion that is excessive or unusual is what you're looking for.
Another thing that I hadn't heard of before, bluish.
Lips or face. Well, that's an indication you're not getting enough oxygen.
Okay. Inability to stay awake. So you're sleeping a lot.
Dozing off.
Yeah. Your pale gray or blue colored skin, nails, or
lips.
Lips.
And again, that's lack of oxygen, so your system's not functioning.
They have in here the latest advice from the Mayo Clinic delivered to your inbox. So they have an email address that you can do, and you can subscribe to this. But preventing others if you're ill, protecting others if you're ill is some of the advice here is stay home from work, school.
Yeah, if you feel sick,
areas.
don't go to work.
Yeah.
That's
common.
true of anything. If you have a cold, if you have the regular flu, no matter what.
Well, one of the things that I want to point out then, but don't stay home if you're not sick, because being outside, first of all, you're not going to get the coronavirus or any kind of thing from outside, usually, unless it's very, very crowded.
Yeah,
and usually
if you're
outside,
standing in your yard or whatever, or you're driving to work.
Or if you're outstanding in your yard.
You're outstanding in your yard.
Then you're okay. So they've got a lot of good tips here. Avoid sharing space, clean often touched surfaces, wear a face mask when you're near others.
Well, if you're with a family or a group of people that live in your house, stay in your room, kind of isolate yourself.
Right.
And let's see what else. Avoid sharing towels and so on. Wear a face mask, change the mask every day. The face mask is an interesting question because there's articles that say that the face mask doesn't stop the actual
I think
virus.
It's more like protecting yourself. So it may not, if you're
well,
coughing,
you don't want to sneeze on somebody.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I think, and that's always what we've done is we're talking about protecting ourselves, not so much protecting others. They've got to fend for themselves too, So this whole idea, I think of, do it for other people. Well, that's a nice gesture. But in particular, when you do all these things, you're doing it to protect yourself.
Yeah, because, particularly if you have some symptoms and you are ill and you do contract the virus, your system is compromised a bit while it's fighting off the virus. You don't want to expose yourself to something else.
That's right. And also, if you're isolating and doing all the things to suggest you're protecting yourself, but in the long course, you're also protecting other people automatically.
Correct. And then you have the opposite situation. If someone in your household contracts COVID
and now you're
caring for them, then how do you protect yourself?
Keep your hands clean and away from your face.
Oh,
one of the hardest things to do. Keep it away from your face.
Yeah.
Wear a mask. That's normal.
It says frequently wash your hands.
Yeah.
Over the years, if one or the other of us had a little cold or something, because we don't tend to get sick. We haven't gotten the flu and that sort of thing.
Not in decades.
Yeah, but every once in a while you feel like you're not quite all there.
You find like you're off just a little bit.
Wash my hands.
Wash your
anytime
face.
If I give you something, then I go and wash my hands, or if I take the plate back from you or whatever, I just wash my hands.
Yeah.
And then they say you should wear a face mask and stay at least 6 feet away from an ill person.
Our ancestors used to actually do the opposite. If somebody was sick in their house, everybody would kind of gather around. So they have a small exposure, and certainly things like the measles and the chicken pox, people used to have parties. Because once you're exposed to these things, and I think viruses all have this tendency that if you've already had them and you're exposed to them again, you kind of get a little booster shot. Your immune system is already aware of them, kind of like the vaccine does. And all of a sudden, and this is why some of these diseases that are kind of new in our society, like shingles, is part of a chickenpox virus that establishes itself only years later because you didn't get the booster. And the natural booster is what I'm talking about.
Right.
But the vaccines may do the same thing. I don't really
Clean
know.
your home.
Yeah. Be careful with your laundry. Don't shake dirty laundry.
Well, except that at this point, there are articles that say that the virus doesn't live on your clothes.
Right.
Now, if I sneeze into my elbow and then rub my elbow on you, there's a chance that something will be transmitted.
It's not a problem we've had.
But dirty laundry, I don't know. I have to do some more research on that one.
Be careful with dishes and avoid direct contact with sick people. It's bodily fluids. That's natural. And avoid unnecessary visitors. Then the next part of the article is ending isolation and quarantine and what you should and shouldn't do. And this kind of follows the guidelines of the 10 days of isolation. And
it does say that talk to your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. All of these things. If you have a weakened immune system, you need to take different precautions than someone who's trying to boost their natural immunity and so on. And it says that, let's see. The CDC says it's okay to be around others after at least 10 days have passed since your symptoms started. At least 24 hours have passed with no fever without the use of a fever-reducing medication. And then your loss of taste and smell might last for weeks or months, but should not delay ending isolation.
And it says here, if you're fully vaccinated, get tested 3 to 5 days after exposures, even if you didn't have any symptoms.
Well, now that we're talking about if you're caring for somebody with COVID-19 and you aren't fully vaccinated.
No, it says here, if you're fully vaccinated.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the first sentence here. Then you should quarantine for 14 days after your last contact with a sick person and watch out for symptoms.
So this is suggesting even if you're vaccinated, you could get it from somebody else as well.
And that seems to be something that's been in the news lately people, in fact, Colin Powell was fully vaccinated.
Right. Yeah. And still got it.
And still gone.
Because probably he was compromised in some fashion, which we know he was.
Well,
Then coping with caregiving stress. And this is another one of those things. That's a big thing.
A big topic of mine is the caregivers who need a break, who need support, who need to be able to, the things that they list here would be making sure that you're caring for yourself in addition to the other person. And that's maintaining your daily routine so that you're taking your shower every day and getting dressed in fresh clothes and so on. And you don't have to listen to every word that comes out about the virus or about what's going on in the news.
Sure. You get inundated with stuff.
Take a break and eat healthy meals and stay hydrated. Get some exercise. Get plenty of sleep. Avoid the excessive use of alcohol and tobacco. And meditate. Breathe deeply. Do stretching. Focus on enjoyable activities. And most importantly of all is do not isolate yourself. Make sure that you're reaching out, connecting with others. Share your feelings about it. It's natural to feel uncomfortable or unhappy about having to care for somebody. And just there is help out there. And it's important that you recognize it, that you need that help, just even if you're healthy.
So next we're going to shift over to a supplement that we've been using. And the title of the article, and this comes from smarterreviews.com. And it's 2021's best NAC supplements for immune health. Now, NAC stands for N-acetylcysteine. Yes. And for many years, it's used to treat issues ranging from heart and lung to mental health. More recently...
before you go on, it's been around for many years.
Well, 30 years it's been known as a supplement. Just recently, it's been reclassified as a drug. By the CDC.
By the FTC.
By the FDA. Right. And so they're trying to pull this from shelves. It's been really a drug that is quite remarkable because of its boosting power to the immune system. Yeah. So let's talk about this a little bit. What is NAC and how does it work? NAC is a supplement form of L-cysteine. It's a semi-essential amino acid present in our bodies. Over the decades, it's been used to treat a host of medical issues from chronic lung disease to addictive behavior. In fact, the effectiveness of NAC is so well documented that the World Health Association organization has designated it as an essential medicine.
So, and it's been called the master detoxifier. It actually, it helps your body produce glutathione.
Yes.
Which is an extremely strong, powerful antioxidant.
Yeah. Also combats the harm.
That's the one called the master detoxifier.
That's right. It also combats the helpful or the harmful effects of oxidative stress and keeps your immune system functioning healthfully. So in the news, you'll
eliminates free radicals and heavy metals from the body.
Yeah.
In the news.
Well, in the news, it's not mentioned at all, and now you can't get it on Amazon anymore. So it's much harder to find. In the show notes, I'll link a couple of sources that we use. I think it's a real important thing that you can take and without any side effects, unless you overdose in it.
Well, yeah, you got to follow the recommended dosages. And it says, here's another thing that diminishes as you age. Your ability to create the glutathione within your body.
Exactly. So here's a good reason for taking this.
So we also take glutathione.
Yeah. And it can be used in combination with many other vitamins. It doesn't have any problems with the cross-contamination of anything.
Right.
So
they call it the ultimate detox tag team.
Yes. So NAC can effectively replenish your natural antioxidant levels. It can scavenge and eliminate free radicals, repair liver damage, and reduce inflammation caused by oxidative stress. Now, your body's ability to produce the GHS diminishes as you age. So poor nutrition, stress, and other underlying health conditions can also be the cause of these levels to dip even further. Right. So if you have an immune function, if you're overweight, if you drink a lot, smoking, especially because this really cleans out the lungs. And there's an article in here just about that. Fortunately, NAC can help replenish the GHS and even has antioxidant properties of its own, such as the ability to clean and repair damaged tissue. Together, NAC and GHS form the ultimate detox tag team.
Yeah, and it does say, one of the primary function of your liver is to flush to detoxify your body,
especially heavy metals and things like that, which is all the pollution that we talk about that we don't want in our air and in our soil has these things in them.
And NAC has been shown to repair damaged liver cells as well as detoxifying the liver, which is a great benefit.
Yeah, and they suggest here that you look for NAC supplement with synergetic ingredients that that not only boost your liver health but also fortify your immune system.
Yeah, and then they talk further about the makeup. It's a wonderful thing when you can find natural ingredients, natural supplements that have such a great healing power for your body.
Yeah.
Your cells have to be repaired on a daily basis. You don't just get a body and then it's great for the next 100 years.
Yeah, and here they evaluate a lot of the collagen sources in this article. So I think it's important to look at it. And,
it'll be in the show notes.
Yeah. So let's go to the next one. So the next one is, let's see.
Is that the end, that one?
The top 9 benefits.
Yeah. There will be another article in the show notes too that goes into more detail with many, many, many sources.
Yeah,
it was just kind of harder.
Yeah, and there's so many sources of this, and these are all doctors and labs that have tested these things. Yeah, so the 9 top benefits of NAC.
Okay.
So the first one. Okay, essential for making the powerful antioxidant glutathione. So this is the first thing that we mentioned. Glutathione is the magic pill or the magic ingredients that you need to get rid of free radicals in your body.
Most important antioxidant.
This has been researched over and over for years and years. So it's something that everybody knows, and why this is not in the news and why it's all of a sudden declassified at the same time when the vaccine came out is raising questions, I think.
Well, I keep thinking about that Eagles song, Dirty Laundry.
Yeah, good
If
one.
it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah.
You know, that's the saying.
Yeah.
People want to hear the news. The news is as much a corporate invention as anything else. It's a business like anything
remember
else.
that in the 60s when the news came on, no commercials were allowed.
Mm-hmm.
And this was thought to be a way of getting your news in a clean form.
Well, neutral and objective.
Yeah. And the other thing is we know that sponsors will object to things. So if you have a drug company making something and you've got a natural remedy, they may not want that because they want to make money. And
they don't want any competition to their ad.
Yeah.
And
we're not saying don't take the vaccine.
Right.
We're not against the vaccine. I think everybody has to make up their own mind what to do. Or
any other drugs, because it's not just the vaccine.
Of course, yeah.
Every time we turn on a show, the ads are predominantly some kind of pharmaceutical for some kind of medical condition. And apparently we have a very serious problem with psoriasis in our country at this time. And I wouldn't be surprised because of all the pollutants and the things that irritate your skin. And, anyway, the point is...
So we're always looking at the natural side of it.
Right.
And whether we get a vaccine or got a vaccine really doesn't make any difference. We're still going to look at the natural thing to do.
Well, right. Because why not explore all of your options and do whatever else? It's the same thing as our friend who is fighting off the cancer. I mean, he did take chemo. He did take radiation. But he also changed his diet and began a regimen of supplements and was taking certain herbs and using essential oils and doing all of these things. Why not do all of it?
And the big thing, he already had established himself as a positive person all through his life.
Oh, yeah.
So
and
that carries...
even with obstacles.
Right, exactly. So
yeah.
that's an important part. Number 2, it helps with detoxification to prevent or diminish kidney and liver damage. And we know that viruses attack these things. They stop the function of your kidneys to a certain levels. So... You're not able to
liver is really a problem.
Yeah, you're not able to detox these materials, and that's why they hang around more.
Well, as we mentioned just a minute ago, NAC has applications for liver diseases due to its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory benefits. Correct. But one of the things that I don't think we've talked about, aspirin and acetaminophen and all the other kinds of pain relievers that are available over the counter, and that there is a possibility to overdose on
Tylenol,
acetaminophen,
especially.
On Tylenol.
And this is the go-to supplement. Now it's a drug. It's a treatment used for over 30 years, as long as Tylenol has been out, basically.
So the doctors regularly give intravenous NAC to people with an acetaminophen overdose to stop and reduce kidney and liver damage.
Yeah,
and I thought that was very interesting.
I don't recommend taking Tylenol at all.
Well, that's not the point.
That's for sure. Number 3, may improve... Yes.
The over-the-counter drugs are be taken like candy. Yeah. People just pop them. Oh, I have a headache. Let me take a couple of Tylenol, whatever. If you do that every single day, it begins to build up in your body. And it becomes an issue.
It also becomes an issue with your brain because your brain is saying, I've got this magic pill that'll stop just about anything. So we've got many different pills, so you start taking lots of different things. Number 3, may improve psychiatric disorders and addictive behavior. So
that's pretty interesting.
That's addictive behavior is just taking any kind of drug, right?
Well, addictive behavior is also drinking too much soda during the day, just one after another.
Or looking in the mirror and saying, I look terrible. That type of thing, too.
Well, we're thinking more in terms of...
Yes, of course. But I think that's
you have to stop at the fast food and get a fix.
Right. You have to eat 3 times a day, that type of thing. When we know that all the studies have shown that the less you eat, the better health you are.
And what you eat.
And what you eat is, of course, important. Yeah. So number 4.
Oh, wait, just 1 second. I just want to... It says... Now, this is number 3 with the improving psychiatric disorders and addictive behavior is May. We don't have the studies are not conclusive, and there aren't enough of them but they do seem to indicate that there is some glutamate is required for normal brain action, and excess glutamate paired with glutathione depletion can cause brain damage. So there are connections and so on.
So number 4 helps with to relieve symptoms of respiratory conditions, and of course, we're talking about this virus being exactly that,
settling in your chest.
Right.
Well, it's interesting. It says it's an expectorant, so that means it loosens the mucus.
Yeah, it diminishes and makes it more watery, so you can get rid of it easier. And since I started taking that, it definitely has done that, because I've always had problems with those things.
Yeah, and you've had allergy issues.
Yeah, and this seems to really help with those things. In the morning, I don't, blow my nose as much.
Trying to clear your lungs.
Exactly. So,
well, that's interesting, and now that you mention it, I have noticed that you're definitely not doing that the way you were. Yeah. That's interesting.
Number 5.
Well, 1 second.
Okay.
It not only is it an antioxidant, but it's an anti-inflammatory. And of course, all mucus is a reaction to inflammation in the lungs and in the bronchial passages.
Yeah. And one thing I want to mention, it's not an expensive supplement.
And they say it helps with chronic bronchitis, and it can help relieve COPD, which is a big benefit.
Improve other lung and respiratory tracts like cystic fibrosis, asthma, pulmonary fibrosis, as well as symptoms of nasal and sinus congestion due to allergies or infections. So that's huge.
Okay, number 5.
Yeah.
Boosts brain health by regulating glutamate and replenishing glutathione. Yeah. And we had talked about the fact that it's critical. Glutathione is very important for brain health. It also says it helps regulate the glutamate levels and replenish the glutathione, and so it may help with memory problems. It also may help with, Parkinson's disease, which is characterized by deterioration of cells that generate dopamine. And oxidative damage to cells and decrease in antioxidant ability contribute to this disease. So if there's something that is fighting those things, that can only help.
No doubt about it. Okay, number 6 may improve fertility in both men and women. Now, this is a big, big subject, because that's what's been diminishing in our Western society.
Yeah. So many people have trouble getting pregnant.
Yeah. Especially women.
Yeah. Especially.
Male fertility issues increase when antioxidant levels are insufficient. Infertility, yes. To combat free radical formation in the respiratory system. I guess my dyslexia just skims over things and misses things.
That's all right. That's why
I have you, baby.
That's right. The oxidative stress can cause cell death and reduce fertility. So it's, in some cases, it has shown to improve male fertility.
Yeah. In fact, they have a study here. One study, 35 men with
varicocele.
Yeah, we're given 600 milligrams of NAC per day for 3 months post-surgery. The combination of the surgery and the NAC supplement improved semen integrity and partner pregnancy rate by 22% compared to the control group. There's another study that men with infertility found the supplement of the 600 milligrams of NAC and 200 milligrams of selenium for 26 weeks improve the semen quality.
Yeah, it's apparently the disease one of the things that contributes to male infertility, that varicocele, is veins inside the scrotum become enlarged due to free radical damage.
There you go.
And that's, that is just a big thing. The other thing that I found that I know is a big problem for women these days is the polycystic ovary syndrome. And it seems that the NAC may improve that fertility in women who have that syndrome by inducing and augmenting the ovulation cycle.
Yep.
Well, that's pretty interesting stuff. We'll have to kind of keep an eye on that.
Yeah, number 7 may stabilize blood sugar by decreasing inflammation in fat cells. So this is huge, because we have a big population of people who are
Well, it's
obese or overweight.
an epidemic of obesity.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
High blood sugar and obesity contribute to inflammation in the fat tissues.
And of course, the around the corner always is your diseases of diabetes and things like that, type 2 diabetes. So this can help in that, and it actually works with the same receptors, the AC and what is that? ACE inhibitors. Yeah. So it's the same path the coronaviruses take. That's that spike protein. When insulin and receptors are intact and healthy, they properly remove sugar from your blood, keeping levels within the normal limits.
Yeah, so they're doing a lot of research on this, particularly right now. They've done a lot of animal studies, and those have shown that it may stabilize blood sugar by decreasing the inflammation in the fat cells, and that improves insulin resistance.
So number 8 is may reduce heart disease risk by preventing oxidative damage.
Yeah, that whole oxidative damage thing, those are the free radicals roaming around and damaging cells and so on.
Yeah. And number 9 is the...
Well, just a second. Okay. Oxidative damage to heart tissue leads to heart disease, can cause strokes, heart attacks, and other serious conditions.
Yeah. And number 9 is the ability to boost glutathione levels may improve the immune system function. And that's all the articles say this. They tested it against HIV. They've done many studies on other immune compromised situations, such as the flu.
Well, here's interesting. They've studied particularly with people who have HIV. And in 2 studies, supplementing with NAC resulted in a significant increase in immune function with an almost complete restoration of natural killer cells. Yeah. So that's really something.
And in this article, they have some dosage recommendations. So there's the label that we've gotten from that. And it has some side effects. It's likely safe for adults when provided provided as a prescription medication.
So you want to stick to the dosage is what you want to do.
Yeah. High amounts can cause nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, those types of things.
Yeah, but that you'd have to take a lot of it. Yeah. And you don't want to inhale it.
Yeah, and you might want to start with a third of the dose. And
it says 600 milligrams. 3.
A day.
Up to 3.
A
day. So we started with 1. I'm taking 1.
Yeah, I started with 2. I could tell the detox was happening that first and second day. After that, I didn't have any problems with it. Right. I'm still on the 2. Because
you just do that for a few weeks.
And then I'll go to the 3. So the bottom line, basically, it's very important in human health. It's renowned for its ability to replenish levels of the antioxidant glutathione. It also regulates important brain functions.
Brain neurotransmitter glutamate.
Yeah.
And helps detoxification.
Yeah. And the last thing we have on here is a review dealing with exactly what we started out with, the COVID-19 thing. I'm not going to read this whole article. We're just going to kind of skim over it because it will be in the show notes, and it's a medical journal thing that has the abstract introduction. And I just highlighted a couple things here. NAC is a precursor of the antioxidant. Glutathione has been used to loosen thick mucus in the lungs and treat
acetaminophen
overdoses for decades. However, NAC can also boost the immune system, suppress viral replication, and reduce inflammation.
But we don't hear about it.
Despite these valuable features, NAC has been mostly overlooked throughout the vaccine.
And it would be effective with any kind of flu or any kind of...
so they have a lot of information in this dealing directly with things like pneumonia, any kind of lung function that reduces your mortality rate. Also case reports and clinical trials using NAC to treat COVID-19 patients. And there's a lot of links in here.
So we'll put that up in the show notes.
I want to say something here that, You can ask questions. You can use my email address, nicodahan@me.com. If you have any questions, you can also subscribe to our show on YouTube. Living a Primal Lifestyle. That'll help us. Right now it shows 5 people there to subscribed. I've dug a little bit deeper and we actually have a lot more than that. But please like the episode.
Hit the like button.
Yeah, that's important. If you have any questions, you can put them in there and then we'll address them on the next show.
Yeah.
So I think we'll wrap that up for today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So thanks a lot. I hope you enjoy the episode. And
thanks for watching.
We'll be back next week.
We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.